Gratitude.
Ownership.
Leadership.
Discipline.
All right, we're here. We got a short week this week.
Short week, yes.
But, fall break. It's
Yes.
exciting, although, first of all, let's just congratulate the big, huge win against Deer Creek.
Thank you.
And it wasn't close. My partner, he predicted a close game. I predicted a 7-point game. We're both wrong.
Right.
So how does that feel a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it feels good. Like I've said before, we've lost games, we've won games, and I've used this phrase before, but it really is true. When you lose a game, you're not going to drive your car off a bridge, and then when you win a game, you're not going to get a tattoo of the win. So it's somewhere between all the time. But they were next on the schedule. We needed to win that game. We knew we did. That helps put us in the driver's seat, for a potential district championship, which has been our goal, our first goal. And so, obviously each week you take each week at a time. But last week they were the team on the schedule. And we needed to win that one.
Yeah, and I felt like just looking at it, I felt like you had basically the same game plan. I didn't see a different game plan. It just looked like Choctaw played Choctaw football.
Mm-hmm.
Deer Creek, totally different game plan. It looked like they were intimidated. It looked like they had a trick play about every series had a trick play. And I know we've been there before, but usually when we have to run those trick plays, we're it's numbers. We're calculating. If we don't do this here, then we are going to lose. I even called their first onside kick. I was like, what? Because you play to win. And so
Right.
I appreciate that about Deer Creek. They're playing to win.
No doubt.
And it makes it a lot more fun to watch at home.
Right. Well, I mean, they're not risk adverse. We're not risk adverse. We're not scared to dial up a trick play or an onside or go for two or whatever. And they're not either. So I respect that. Like I said, they're a very good opponent, very well coached. A good job, Coach Stanley and staff. The kids play really hard. They're a very well coached team. We easily could see them again, on down the road, and we're well aware of that. So. But yeah, I mean, I thought they stayed fairly true to what they do, and we tried to as well. Bottom line, when you go play really good people, I tell our kids and others that there's normally not a cheat code to it. You have to beat them. Of course, you try to outcoach them, you try to outplay them, but sometimes you have to just physically be able to beat somebody. And I felt like our kids were able to do that on Friday night. And, really, really proud of just how hard they played. And I say that's always been a mark of Choctaw football, always will be. We call it gold standard football. There's only one speed that we play with. It's full speed. And if you want to get on the field for us, that's what it is. And our guys, each 11 on both sides of the ball just continuously, give just maximum effort at all times. And it's so fun to be a part of, and I couldn't be more proud to be their coach.
So I'm glad you brought that up. So we online or on the broadcast discussed what we thought the player of the game was.
Okay.
What did you pick as the player of the game?
Yeah, offensive player of the game was Jack Smith.
Okay.
And Jack's, if you just watch Jack's on the perimeter, a bunch of big catches. Was able to actually punt the ball, a couple times, which we rarely do, to kind of seal it at the end. And just his selflessness, making big plays, and he didn't make big plays, but when the ball wasn't in his hands, what he did. Easily could have given it to Latrell Ray, almost
Right.
200 yards rushing. Latrell was lights out all night. Still, Wassel made great decisions all night long at quarterback. With reading his run reads, plus throwing the ball really well, making great decisions, getting us plus chains all the time, and just did a super good job. And then also, you watch the five up front. The five guys up front were just absolutely just mauling guys, between the trenches. And so it's just really, team effort. But Jack Smith was our offensive player of the week. And then defensively was Jacoby McLean.
Okay.
And if you watch Jacoby, you're going to figure him out pretty quick. I mean, we calculated he had a sack at one point from, almost 20 yards depth.
Oh, yeah.
That he came from to go.
I'm hoping I picked that one up. So.
And just, he's all over the field, and he just absolutely just plays with the Lions' heart, and at all times. And then I could also, go into our D-line with, Marcus McGrew and Nolan Bussell and R.J. Jackson, Will Smith, and then the secondary guys that, they're not getting, free because you have Deshaun Hine and Austin Hubert and Cash Williams and Drake Fitro that just are suffocating them, and so we're able to, send, 3, 4, and 4-man pressures and still get home to the quarterback, which, a lot of times they have a 6-man protection. We're sending 3 or 4. It's still getting home. That's a good sign. And so, those guys just played really, really well, and I just couldn't be more proud of them. And I talked about this, internally with our guys that, we do what is the boringest thing to people in the world, because when someone will watch game 1, and then I want to have a snapshot decision of that team right there and what it is.
Right.
And what they feel is that you can get better.
Right.
You can improve. Practice matters, right? Game plans matter. All those things throughout the year. And so we do go back and watch, our spring games. We go back and watch, briefly our first scrimmage, and kids are like, oh my gosh, like I don't even recognize it. I feel like I'm playing in slow motion back then, compared to how they are now. And that's what's been real satisfying with this team, is just the amount of improvement that they've been able to make just throughout the year. It's been really, really cool.
Yeah. Well,
who did you have?
Well, initially,
here we go.
When we were forced to just have
Jacket TV, player of the game.
one person, because
Okay.
this is not what we end up with. I was thinking Steele, Watson.
I could easily
And
go Steele.
And so part of my argument was he was just sitting there, calm, and I felt he had a calming force. He would just sit there in the pocket and then execute the play.
100%.
And there was a calming force on offense. I didn't feel panicked. And then I realized, and I think we talked about this in the group, that the real difference in the game, and we go back to the Dell City game, the real difference, and you talked about growth, in both of those games, is that offensive line, your center, Millsap, they just dominated all day long. They were getting every play 3-5 seconds for the quarterback, sometimes more.
Right.
And so just that group working together, that unit became our player of the game. Just the offensive line.
Easily. That. Absolutely.
Millsap's men. We could have a nickname for it, but like this, the center heads it up. But these are men playing on the line, and they are playing very well as a team, because there's the team, and then there's the line, and they have to play as a close knit, connected at the hips kind of team. So we really thought that was the difference. Is like, I was joking with Luttrell before the thing. It's like, I could run just like you behind that line. Like I'm getting 5 yards, five yards every single play. Not because I'm any good, because the line was getting, and we saw in this game, the line was getting 2 or 3 yards.
Oh, yeah.
And then Luttrell would do something special. I could get the 3 yards because of the line. Of course, I told Luttrell it'd take me 4 or 5 times longer to get there. But I'd get there eventually because the line was there. But that's okay. I'm not trying to try out for the team.
Yeah,
I'm not going to make it.
Yeah, I mean, and as you mentioned, it's like, they did a great job, and we've actually Gabe Gaines over to center, and he's done a great job. Millsap's actually slid over to guard, and those guys just kind of reorder the line a little bit. We think gives us our best chance to be successful. And it's again, what I do for a living is some of it's kind of funny to me, because you come into the season and you're replacing 14 guys. Well, that takes a little bit of time, to be able to do. And you love to be able to snap your fingers and that's it. But a lot of times those guys need the reps, they need the film study, they need the mistake to be able to correct the mistake, and as the season progresses, it's like, oh, I've seen this blitz before. I've seen this, I've seen this twist game before up front. I've seen this type of front, all this stuff. And, and you start building a resume, of experiences,
right.
And those guys just continue it. And I just couldn't be more proud of them. We paused the film multiple times, with the O-line, as you mentioned, and just like, just brag on those guys so much, just how much they've grown. And then I say, that going through, the beginning of the season till now, we have almost the same amount of time from now till potentially the very end of the season, December 2nd. And I go, if we'll put together that same level of growth from the first half that we did, and then now multiply that again here for the second half, I'm like, how good can you be?
Right.
And that's what's exciting about this team, because we still have not fully tapped the potential in them. And I want to see if we can get there, and that's the goal of coaching.
Well, yeah. Let's go to defense.
Okay.
So initially, I thought Jacoby McClain, because I mean, when he sees his opportunity,
missile.
Yeah, I think we said that he's like a rocket. That but again on that, we went. The difference to us was the defensive line. Mm-hmm. They just, first of all, they're super talented. RJ was in the backfield the whole time. McGrew was playing up front. Bustle was doing his job. Mm-hmm. But bottom line is the line was filling their gaps, drawing double teams, sometimes triple teams, opening up for other people to make plays. Right. But the dominance that we saw is on both sides of the ball.
Right.
The line. And so it's hard to see how good they are. We played some teams that it's hard to measure. This team felt like a good measuring stick.
Right. They're
So
a very good team.
So I can compare the Dell City game to this. It's a different team. It's
Right.
a 100% different team. I'm kind of sad we don't have Dell City next week because
Right.
I think we blow them out.
Well, I don't know
But-
about that, but you know they're a good team as well. You know, but
Well,
that's the
sure.
deal. I mean, you know, you want to get better and play the next team. You know, continue to get better. But just to go back what I said. After a week one game against Dell City, I knew we had a good team. I knew we weren't very good at the time. And I knew both things. I've done this for a long time.
Right.
You're 17 for me, and I kind of know that, hey, we potentially could be really good if we'll do what I think we can. But we have a long ways to go. And then now you're still, like I said, we haven't fully reached our potential, but you're kind of like starting to inch towards that a little bit, which is where you want to be, mid to, 2/3 through the season.
Right.
And continue to get going. Because we always talk about internally, like we want to be playing our best ball by week 11. First round of the playoffs, and just continue to kind of inching towards that. And so some stuff like, that you may not be able to, you can't cover everything in such a short amount of time of the season. And as you mentioned, kids just continue to grow and get better. And I was really, really proud of them. And to echo your point up front on defense, like I'm telling you, those guys up front on defense, like we have a lot of growth there too, because we're just now starting to kind of tap into that where those guys, because, RJ Jackson, really first year D-line guy.
Right,
right.
right.
He's always been a tight end. Marcus McGrew, no varsity experience, prior to this year. Jaden Steeda, who we didn't mention, but, is just coming back from injury.
Okay, good.
Nolan
good.
Bustle never played D-line before. I can go on and on. Will Smith, not a whole lot of D-line experience. We can go on and on with guys that don't have a whole lot of experience up there that just continually get better each and every week. And, it's really exciting, as you mentioned, to kind of watch their growth because it does all start up front on both sides of the ball and O and D, and you got to be able to control the line of scrimmage on both sides.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned it, not me. You brought up first playoffs. All right. Playoffs are weird this year.
Yeah.
And I guess they're going to be weird forever. Instead of 4 teams, 6 teams. So we're hoping to get, obviously, the district championship, which gives us, if you're 1 and 2, you get a first round bye.
Correct.
And then, so mathematically, we're already in the playoffs because they're taking 6 out of 8.
Okay.
So we're there, so we can talk a little bit about playoffs.
We did it.
We did it, although I think we already knew that we were going to make it at the beginning of the season.
We'd hope to.
Again, old Choctaw, our goal is to make the playoffs. New Choctaw is to go ahead and hang a district champion during the regular season because why shoot for 6th place?
First is more fun. Let's try that.
Winning's fun.
I say that all the time. Yeah, it's much more fun when
more, yeah.
given the choice. Always choose winning. It's much more fun.
But we're going to face a team at Taft Stadium.
Yep.
Northwest Classen, great school,
Yeah.
great kids, but it's going to be another one of those tough situations where they don't have a very large team.
Right.
They got a lot of youth on their team, and it's a kind of a tough situation where we're probably the heavy favored here.
Right.
And so we're at this part of the season is, are we world beaters or do we need to get better? And I know what you say, but it's all in the athletes' minds. How do you, clearly we're not ready to take on, Georgia. Like if we took on Georgia, they're going to hang 100 points on us and we're not going to score. It's a good thing that it's a different league because I don't think they get to recruit.
Right.
So how do you instill in them for the next couple weeks that we're not world beaters? There's a very talented Stillwater on the other side that everybody's looking at.
Sure.
They're still got the number 1 according to everybody else. We probably have the number 2 or 3. It depends on the source. Some people have Muskogee ranked above us, and I'm bring on Muskogee right now. Let's do it. But how do you convince people we're not world beaters? We can't just kind of lay off for the rest of the season.
I don't, it hasn't been very hard, with this group, to be honest with you. It hasn't been. Again, it's a very experienced group, as far as just being we've had enough continuity in the program where, those guys have been around us coaches long enough and coaches have been together long enough. We're we get it. It's we won a game. We need to go win the next game, and then the next week you have to win a game, and so it's I think you always have to, be looking, down each week, and you have to be focused on each week, but also you need to be looking at the future and go, okay, what skill sets do I need to possess to be able to get our ultimate goal? What skills, what techniques do I need to perfect to be able to get my ultimate goal? Because I know that we're not there yet, and they've always had that growth mindset where it says, hey, I may not be where I need to be right now, but I can get there through work. And so we understand that. And so I remind them on Monday morning, when we have them and, for film and everything and lifting is, I know it's exciting to win, but what if we would have lost?
Right.
Would that change anything?
That's a good point.
And no, sir. Would it have changed anything if we fell short? No. All our goals are still there. Ultimately, you're just trying to get better each and every week. Obviously, you play to win the game. That's your goal. But, if you stumble, get back up the next day and go again. And just like if you win, get back up again the next day and go. And I think you have to approach each day like that. And so that hasn't been an issue with our kids at all. Obviously, we wanted to win the game because they were the next on the schedule.
Okay. Well, that sounds great. This is going to be a Thursday night game.
Thursday night.
So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to Taft Stadium.
Yeah, it's cool. A lot of history in that stadium. Be really cool.
I'm looking forward, because I'm allowed to. I'm looking forward to senior night. That Ponca City is legit this year. They can play some football.
They are good.
And
And
so
I'm not looking forward to senior night because I love these seniors, and I don't want to see them start getting closer to get away. So it's those guys. I feel like have been with. I feel like I was there at childbirth with them.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been with them forever, and
of course,
it kind of makes me sad right now thinking about it. So I'm not ready for that yet.
Of course, senior night to me is the start of the next season, and the next season is the playoff season. And so that's always an exciting time because to me, true senior night is going to be the championship game. If we can make it there, if we can keep it up together.
Yeah, we hope to.
But these seniors kind of worked, very, very hard for years and years and years
100%.
to have that opportunity this year. And I'm excited about that. It's looking like they're going to have as good a shot as anyone.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we never put the cart before the horse, but I don't shy away from that. I mean, that's been the goal. That's always the goal, and I think you should have big goals, and that's what it is, And some guys, say this or that, but that's been our goal since we took over the program in 2017. Was win a state championship. I mean, that's it. I'm not going to shy away from that. We hope to be able to get that done. Those guys absolutely are deserving of it, and I promise you we'll work tirelessly to make sure that happens.
And of course, there's no guarantees because
definitely not.
The deal is that anybody that's going to make it in the semis, they all deserve to be there.
Right. But you got to get there. I mean,
you got to get there.
The old adage is true, and but really, it's 100% accurate that you got to get in the game to win the championship.
Right.
So how do you get in the game? You got to get a lot better.
Right.
And Monday at practice you have to get better. Tuesday, Wednesday, and tonight, Thursday, in the game, we need to keep moving forward.
Okay. So I'm excited. I'm excited about fall break. I think we got it good. We're just going to do it 1 week at a time, and there's going to be some exciting football on.
Yes.
And
yes.
I don't got much more to say about it today.
Tune in, hope for a good game, and we'll be back at it again next week.
Yeah, well, I doubt we'll have all the TV stations this week, but
no,
we had everybody out.
Everybody.
We had Cox, we had
Squirtle,
Squirtle
multiple
out
other.
there. Antler Vision, I think changed their name to something else now, but we'll be the only show in town this week. So
tune in.
until next time, stay classy, Chuck.